For those of you who are familiar with me or my YouTube channel, you know that I have always been a travel bug. So it only makes sense that something that I've always dreamed of being able to do was to get paid and travel to do my job. When my company first started, a lot of my jobs that I originally got were all pretty much just local to my area. But now I am pretty fortunate to have a much bigger clientele base that sends me out pretty regularly for photo and video work. Because of that, there is a lot that I have learned about making sure that your job runs smoothly while traveling out of town for work. So that leads us to today's video. So to save you guys from all the mistakes I've made and some crazy mishaps and having to learn by trial and error, I'm just gonna take you guys with me on a little job shadow opportunity. You'll be coming along with me and my sister as I show you some behind the scenes work on my latest job and my process on how to make out of town work run smoothly. Let's rock. Okay, step one to making sure that every out-of-town job runs smoothly is we gotta plan our itinerary. So whenever I get an inquiry from a client, I'm immediately hopping on my computer and communicating with the client and getting all my details ironed out. For me and my team, it's easiest for us to plan our shoots on Google Calendar. So I'll typically just converse back and forth with the client and get all the necessary details that I would normally need for a shoot. Obviously, you're entitled to run your shoots however you'd like to, but in case you want a reference, these are usually things that I try to get down. First is I confirm all the dates of when the shoot is occurring. This helps me lock in all the other details and plan my trip accordingly. Shoot time and duration. You pretty much need this for every job, but it's extra important to be aware of your schedule, especially when you're traveling to new locations. Speaking of locations, shoot location or locations. This lets me know where I'll be working, and it also helps me look for hotels and coordinate places to stay, and it obviously factors into helping me determine my overall travel cost. Contact info, which is always super important. I always try to get an email or a phone number for at least 2 points of contact whenever I'm on the job. Honestly, the more the merrier here. Last on my list is any remaining details or requests that may not have been previously mentioned. Remember that while your clients are generally going to tell you everything that they want or expect for you to do, it's your job to double check those details and make sure that everything is clear on your end. If the client thinks that what they're asking for is only 1 hour's worth of work, but you're reading the details and you can tell it's gonna take more time, you need to communicate with them so that there's no confusion on those things when you show up to work. So next is when the exciting part starts. It's time to start booking in all your accommodations and travel for your trip. I got 2 main pieces of advice for this part of your planning. The first being to book as early in advance as you possibly can. Delicious. Not only is it going to increase the likelihood of you getting the cheapest rate for your space, but it's also going to increase the likelihood of you getting all the accommodations that you need/want. Reality is you just don't really know what else is going to be going on in that area besides your actual job. So it could be a number of different things. It could be a sporting event. It could be a business convention. It could be a training camp. There's a number of different things that could be happening, but the point is, if they are going on, it's probably gonna book up all the hotels in the area. I have literally been blocked out of a hotel as far as 1.5 weeks in advance, simply because it's been all booked up and it's busy season in that area. The last situation that you want to be in is scrambling for a hotel or a place to stay so that you can show up and still hold up your end of the bargain to do your job. The second piece of advice that I have is double check your bookings. It's always good to save your confirmation number and call ahead to double check your reservation. I've had situations where I have called ahead, or even worse, shown up to the hotel and not actually been registered into their system. Booking directly through the hotel's website or just calling to make sure that your reservation is confirmed is always a good way to ensure your trip keeps running smoothly and give you peace of mind. Okay, everything is booked and planned out, so now it's time to start packing, specifically our gear. I try to follow 2 general rules of thumb here. Bring only what you need, and if you think you need it, bring it. Bringing only what you need helps you save on like pretty much everything. It'll save you space in your bag or in your car or wherever you've got your stuff. It'll save you time needed to unpack and pack your bag, or equipment-wise, set up and break down the equipment on the shoot. It'll even save you money if you're flying, then you don't have to spend as much money to maybe check a bag if you can just pack it all in one bag or something like that. Again, we just want to keep our packing as simple and organized as possible so that we can focus more on doing our job. Speaking of doing our job, if you're like me, then you are probably always working on something. Writing or scripting for a shoot, editing a project of some type or some photos or videos, communicating, emailing clients back. Because of this means that I do travel with a few base necessities so that my mobile workstation is always equipped to handle everything that I need. Outside of my camera gear, this is typically what I pack to bring for mobile work.
So obviously, guys, I will bring my laptop for everything I just mentioned. I'll also bring a mini travel tech organizer, which is pretty useful for holding like my hard drives, my adapters, earbuds, all that fun stuff. I will bring my phone, obviously, and I'll bring my iPad. And the phone and the iPad are just kind of some secondary choices to do extra mobile work on or to have an extra screen.
So back to what I was saying earlier, if you think you need it, bring it. Don't try and be a master minimalist here. We know that we are going to need some basics. So for example, camera, check. Batteries to run the camera, check. Memory cards to capture all my footage and pictures, check. But for other items that you may be on the fence about, like, should I bring the extra tripod or should I bring the stabilizer if I'm just doing talking head pieces for the interview? Bring it. Rule of thumb here is this: it's always better to be safe than sorry, and you'd rather have it than not have it. Plus, you never know. I've had clients ask me before to add things in on the fly. So at the very least, you might end up earning some extra dough or looking a little bit more professional to your client to handle any situation. Last but not least, I recommend packing up all your gear early in advance, preferably if you can, the night before. As you can see, I'm packing up same day, but that's just because I had a little extra time. Packing up the night before helps give you peace of mind by checking things off your item list in advance. It also gives the advantage of packing when your mind is already clear. That way, all you gotta do is wake up and get on the road. Okay, accommodations booked, gear is all packed, so now it's time to travel. For travel, I always recommend leaving early, guys. If you're traveling the day of your shoot, try to give yourself at least an hour to show up in advance and have time to kind of scout out where you're working, meet with any potential clients, have time to set up your gear, all that fun stuff. This also lets you account for things like traffic and other potential slowdowns en route to your job. If you're traveling the day before, then I typically like to leave earlier in the morning just so that I can avoid, again, things like travel, potential slowdowns, and just drive at a more comfortable time of day. Say hello.
For those of you who don't know her, this is my sister Katie. She helps out with a lot of stuff in my company, filming, editing, BTS, all the good stuff. So she'll be riding along with us on this road trip to get a little BTS of the job and help film the vlog for you guys to watch.
What'd you say?
Are we gonna get lunch?
It's always a snack for this one.
I want lunch!
Time to travel, guys. We're gonna hop on the road, get a couple snacks, gas up the car, and we'll see you guys when we get there.
So we kicked off our road trip with some Taco Bell because everybody knows a good road trip needs Taco Bell or something comparable to keep you fed while you're riding. But for this particular shoot, it was about 5 hours away. So that is a little bit long, and the area that I was going to didn't really have any hotels or accommodations close by. So the way I planned things out was I just opted to come a day early, book a hotel in a nearby location that was about 30 minutes drive away, wake up the next day, drive the short distance to the shoot the morning of, and then come back and rest up for another evening before going back home. It was a little bit easier on me, and it helped split up the drive so that it wasn't so long and strenuous and stuff. But here we are checking into our hotel room. As you can see, it's not too bad. Nice and spacious, pretty roomy. Had a nice view with the window and everything, so no complaints on our end. Once we were all checked in, I hopped into doing some work and catching up on emails and stuff like that, since I had been driving for the majority of the day. After that, it was time to just rest and get ready for my shoot the next morning.
Okay, guys, so work is all done, I just logged a couple hours catching up on emails and messages. The last thing that I like to do before a shoot to make sure that I'm all prepped, I like to make sure that all my gear is laid out and ready to go. So that includes things like, again, making sure that the camera bag is packed. I've got my camera, I've got my batteries, I've got my memory cards all in their appropriate places and ready to go. If I'm bringing any extra equipment to the shoot, I pack that up and lay it out as well. So things like my iPad, stands, lighting, audio equipment, tripods, whatever it may be, just make sure it's all either packed into the car the night before or it's all laid out so that you can wake up the next morning, grab it, and get right out the door.
It's time for some Minds Vault Media. He's in the shower. This is a secret mission. Let's go see what he's singing about. Round 2. The spy adventure continues.
So once Katie finished her spy mission, it was time for us to put on our clothes, finish getting ready, and pack up so we can head out for our shoot that morning. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I like to leave early and be ahead of time for all of my jobs. So we left about 45 minutes to 60 minutes early just so that we could get on site, meet with our coworkers, meet the client, and just make sure everything is running smooth for the day. So as you can see, we've made it and I'm packing up some equipment here. It was a lighter shoot, so I didn't need too much. Obviously my camera, a tripod for a couple locked off shots, and some audio gear to make sure we're getting that good crispy sound. But yeah, everything went well. I got to get some work in with the Ronin, which is always a favorite of mine. Shots were looking nice, and now it's time to pack everything down and move on to the next part of our day.
So we just finished shooting our video shoot for today. Everything went very smooth. We had a fun opportunity to meet some new people and connect with some cool new businesses. We're just packing down real fast, and then we are gonna head on back to our hotel / side of town. I didn't get to hit up the coffee shop yesterday because it was closing, so today I'm gonna try and get in there and enjoy myself.
And enjoy ourselves we did. So we went to a local coffee shop called The Ground Floor. I've been here one other occasion, and I just made a promise to myself that if I was back in the area, I would definitely stop back past. It's a little spot that is perfect for just coming and chilling out. As you can see, it's got an awesome interior environment that's nice and cozy, and we were able to come there when it was a little bit empty as well, so that made it extra quiet and easy to focus in. They've got great coffee, great food, and just an overall great atmosphere to come in and just chill out and get some work done. I got this thing called an iced campfire latte, which ended up being a little bit too heavy cream-wise for me. I picked the wrong mixer with it, so I went back and got an almond milk version of it before settling in to do some catch-up work on emails and editing and all that fun stuff.
Whew. The sun got really hot, so now it's time to go on the pod.
I've also been working pretty hard on growing my blog and my YouTube channel. So once I was finished with the mandatory work, I hopped into doing some scripting and some blog post writing so that way I could have some content for that stuff.
Okay, we are back at the hotel. It is officially done. We've done our shoot today, did some extra work at the coffee shop, and now it's time to close down and end out our day. The last thing on the list to kind of end out our shoot, which you got to make sure you do for every single shoot, just good practice. It's time to back up our data. So hook this guy up, get your memory cards out, start backing things up, and then once you get a copy onto the hard drive, if you are extra good and you want some brownie points, you'll get something on your cloud storage as well, so that way you've got 2 forms of backup and you're extra safe. I have a whole process for how I back up my data, make sure it's extra safe. So if you want to see any more content about that, I will make a video, drop a blog post, put something out there so you guys got a resource on how I do my content, how you can back up your stuff and be pretty secure in your shoots and everything that you're creating as well. Yeah, check me out. Check me out, boy. 21st century. That's it right there. That's the magic. That is my whole entire process for making sure that when you travel out of town, or if you've got a job where you're shooting multiple days, going to different places, all that stuff, you can follow this entire process. Obviously, change it or switch it up however you need to for yourself when you're doing your work, but this is a great kind of baseline, so to speak, so that you can have a nice, smooth work experience and enjoy yourself. So, as always, I hope that this helped you in some way, shape, or form, entertainment, inspiration, educated you, whatever it may be. If you did enjoy this content, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to get more content like this coming your way and support our growth. And other than that, I'm going to just chill out for the rest of the evening, let this finish offloading, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Thanks for watching.